All right, you guys, for tonight's update, uh, day 3 p.m. update, I think it's time for us to tell you how we got here. Because I know it seems like it came out of nowhere. Because honestly, it did. Um, Back in February, uh, well, first, if you know Maul, you know he's like, what, 110 pounds soaking wet rocks in his pockets normally. And if you know our family, you gotta have thick skin because we gonna joke on you. So I had seen Maul a couple of times, and I'm like, oh, you getting thick. I think I did like a Beyonce joke or something. um, but I was like, you getting thick, thick. Okay, you working out or something? Like, you getting thick. Even my grandma was like, hey, fatso, like, what's going on? And at that time, his face had swollen up one time, and my mom was like, oh, check on your brother, his face swole up. I gave him some Benadryl. I think either something bit him or his allergies was cutting up. And then I looked at him. I immediately called him. I was like, yeah, you want to stay over here so I can watch you or something? He was like, no, I'm good. So I think about a couple of weeks later, he spent the night over my house, and when he woke up the next day, I looked at him and like, whoa, no, something is wrong. Like, he had bubbled up a lot. Like, I think I called him the blueberry from Willy Wonka. I was like, nah, we getting up out of here. So we went to urgent care. I didn't realize it was an urgent care at the time. But we went to an urgent care, and they were like, oh, well, it looks like he has an autoimmune disease. And I was like, excuse me? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm confusion. And, they basically said that his liver looked like he had been drinking a fifth a day for the last 30 years. He's 23 and doesn't drink. My ears went up. So they gave us a referral to an outpatient gastro doctor, and was like, okay, yeah, follow up with them. I was like, all right, cool. Before we could follow up with them, he swells up again. But this, I called his legs Popeye legs. Like, if I felt like editing this video, I would insert pictures. But his legs were huge. Like, I've seen my grandmother's legs swell up like this. So I'm like, something's not right. So I took him uptown, and we went to Presbyterian. And they were like, no. They called the gastro doctor. We had an immediate follow-up with the gastro doctor. And the gastro doctor was like, I kind of want you to go see a liver specialist. And my uncle passed away. Our uncle passed away. And on the morning of his funeral, right before I got out the car, we got the call from Duke. Duke said, can you get him here tomorrow? It was a Tuesday. They wanted him there by Wednesday. I was like, hey, I got to make a couple of things shake. Can we do Thursday? They were like, bet. We'll up here on Thursday. This is when I'm finding out. This is when I become a medical student. So, found out about a meet number. And I believe what started it was, I think the meet number that was red flag for his Charlotte gastro was 19. And when we went to Duke, we found out that like around 25, you get on the transplant list for a liver. And I'm like, whoa, what the hell is going on? Like, this is a lot in a little bit of time. Like, really. So she wanted to get her own numbers, do her own research, which I respect. So when we came up there that first time, got the numbers, and she was like, all right, bet we're gonna have him do some labs so we can keep up. And like we end up doing the weekly labs. So then we get the call. She was like, hey, we're gonna go ahead and enroll him for the liver transplant evaluation process. This is a 3-day process. Had to go to Duke. We were sent to Duke or Carolina. Carolina ended up calling like a week after the fact. At like a week after we got back from Duke. So we just went with Duke because they were on top of things immediately. And the reason why we got sent all the way to Carolina is because Novant does not have a liver transplant team. Jamaal has Blue Cross Blue Shield, but it's a caveat in there where he has to go to Novant providers. And they don't have a liver transplant team. They don't have the liver specialists. So you have to go to Atrium, Duke, or Carolina. They said we couldn't go to Atrium. So I'm like, all right, bet. We're going to Duke. It's going to be Duke it is. So we going through the process. Everything coming up cool. So we go through the 3-day process to see if he's even a good candidate for the liver transplant. And he's young, he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. Like, he's getting all A report card in these regards. And they were like, nah, we don't see it being a problem with him getting a liver. And they were basically telling us, the process and what would be needed and all those good things. We talked to social workers, financials, like this thing, 3 days of a lot of information. I got I bought my own binder because I'm a student of life. I need to have this information. And they gave us a binder, so I got like 2 thick binders full of notes and things. And they basically tell us what to do. Like, if something happens, go to the local hospital because we are 2 hours away. If it's needed, they would transfer him to Duke, and he would talk to his his liver doctor would be in the mix. So in between, after that, Jamaal had an endoscopy where they put the camera down your throat. And yeah, that was the first time he had to stay in the hospital for a couple of days because he ended up getting an infection from the endoscopy. So that was traumatizing, to say the least, in real life. But we got him to press. They kept him press almost a week. Got him back right. Then that first time he came home, then he swole up, like, again, blueberry, swole. So I took him back to Presbyterian. It had to be like a couple of days after the first hospitalization. Bam, he's back in the hospital again and was able to get out the night before his birthday. Right? He was out for his birthday was that Friday. Saturday, Sunday, I took him right back to the hospital. And he had to stay another couple of days. The last time I took him to the hospital, which might have been last week, Presbyterian basically was like, hey, it ain't nothing more we can do down here. Kanye shrugged. So I'm sitting there like, the fuck? But I get it. So when I got concerned a couple of days ago, when he was becoming a little lethargic and confused and just vacant, I called the transplant team up here at Duke, and they were like, hey, get him up here. And we got up here. And it's been a roller coaster ever since. Found out his mean score has gone up to 24. They normally do transplant. No, his mean score is 27. My bad. And from the original one, they normally do the transplant at 32. So the whole thing is, since Novant doesn't have a liver transplant team, they're gonna have to do it as an exception. And they were like, "We working on it." I bet they do this all the time. And this morning we were told, "Hey, they came in early. The liver team. Hey, we got bad news. We could not get the exception for Duke, but we can try Chapel Hill, Wake Forest, or Atrium in Charlotte." I was like, "Atrium? Really? Charlotte? Bad news? Nah. Do Charlotte. We need Charlotte. Get us to Charlotte." I said, that's why our support system is. That's where we live. Charlotte is clutch. We're going to do Charlotte. So about an hour later, come back. Doctor was like, "Hey, you've been approved. Everything is good. We just waiting on a bed. We're about to transfer him in the next couple of, like, today, tomorrow is what we're being told." So I'm like, she thought it was bad news. I'm over here giddy, excited. Told her parents, we hyped. We going home. I had to run, get a couple of things, and I get a call from the second doctor. "Hey, we're gonna miss y'all, but I'm so excited that y'all get to go home." He calls me back 20 minutes later. "Hey, there was an issue, and Adrian says they can't accept the insurance." So now we're waiting to hear if Chapel Hill's going to take us. That's the update.